So I'm done. So if y'all got some questions or comments that y'all want to, it could be about anything. It don't have to just be about this. It could be about any and everything. And I will respond. To whether or not I can answer you, we'll find out. I appreciate y'all's attention. You got something, bro?
Yeah, I got
What's up? Come on. Say it again. Okay, formulate. Let me know when you got it. Yes, ma'am.
So I want to know what you thought about the idea of, let's say, male rappers rapping about, misogynistic things or materialistic things,
Yeah.
and they turn around and use the money that they gain from those things to help, or like to buy their family or friends, like materialistic things.
Right.
Whether it's worth it if you're helping the community or whatever.
I got you.
Just if you're, or as simultaneously destroying like the community or the culture of like basically telling the world that this is what black people have to offer.
I got you. So the question is, basically, I'm gonna rephrase a little bit. If I'm off track, check me, all right? So basically, what I'm hearing Sister ask is, do I think that the ends justify the means? Specifically, rappers, male rappers, rapping about misogynistic things, materialistic things, toxic things that are poisonous and injurious to our people, and then taking the profits gained from that and actually doing something good for our people. Do I think it's worth it? Right. And so what I would say is it's an end, it's a means to an end for right now. And kind of like meeting people where they are, like I said with Nipsey earlier. But eventually I think that we need to get rid of all of that. It's almost like a cancer. I don't think you should leave any part of the tumor there. But sometimes the tumor is in a place like on the brain, to where the surgeons can only take so much of it out without risking cutting major chunks of the brain out, right? And so I think that we're still in that delicate type of situation to where we got to take what we can right now. We'll keep our eyes on the goal of eventually moving totally out of this expression. Because the expression, as you are talking about it, is these are injured people. These are people who have been taught that this is what you have to do. You've got some rappers who wanted to be conscious rappers, and the record label says, well, we need this, we need you to rap about this, we need you to rap about that. And so they do it after signing their contract, right? And so I'm not excusing any of it, just giving reasons behind it. And so again, I think that right now we gotta take what we can take, but never lose sight that eventually we wanna get to the point of just cutting it all out. Because it's poisonous and it's toxic. And the babies are being influenced by it. And they really think that this is how it is. Right, the young ladies that like Cardi, she's being rewarded for what she puts out there. And again, I get it. I understand why she comes from where she comes from. And so she has to eventually evolve if she chooses to. But right now, at this stage of her evolution, she's got a very loud microphone and a whole bunch of cameras on her, which then does influence the identity and the personality of our younger generation. Heck, not even the younger generation. Those folks that didn't come to class today, they're influenced. Not none of y'all, but that's how I see it, sis. Yes?
But I would also say Cardi B is very politically active.
Yep. And so she has used her voice towards political things, right? And so I think that's still in line with what the sister was saying. So she talked about misogyny, but so we're saying that Cardi B has garnered fame now. And so she has to do what she has to do to maintain her fame, but now she is using her voice to also address some political issues. And so that's the same thing as before. Yes, we got to take what we can for right now, but eventually we want to move out of having to do those things, having the need to do those things in order to get our mics cut on. You follow what I'm saying? So I totally agree. Yes, she's using her voice towards political things, but if we had a pie chart, I think that'd be a very small slice of everything else that her voice is used for. But again, we're getting something, and I appreciate and value that for what it's worth. Ready? That's it? Yes. Uh-oh.
So Cardi in a way that like what she doesn't necessarily raps about, like influencing young girls and like these younger people. And she did say she was like she loves kids that don't make her responsible for the way that your child or whoever may behave. Like just look at the media, but I feel like there should also be a more direct influence besides just like what you can see. Like I need to have someone physically in my life to show me how I should act.
I got you.
Yes, I do.
I feel you. So sister's saying that, in line with what Cardi is saying, is that she, don't let me be the sole influence. We're the people, we're the parents, we're the family that's supposed to be close, right? And unfortunately these days, the parents are following too. And so what happens is that the gap between generations is decreasing. So like right now, you know, the parents are listening to the same things that the kids are listening to. They're wearing the same thing, using the same lingo. You know, before there used to be enough gap. Like when I was growing up, my mama was listening to Anita Baker. When I knew Anita Baker was on, I knew it was time to clean up the damn house. Right? And like to this day, I got issues looking at the Rapture cover. Rapture is one of her albums. She's on the cover in a black dress, and she's barefoot. And I couldn't stand her being barefoot, because I knew we was cleaning up every time that album was out. And so it was a gap there, right? But nowadays, you know, it's still a gap between my generation and my son, you know, my daughter. But because I'm a DJ and I'm hip hop oriented, I still listen to what they're listening to. I don't rock it, but I listen to it. But that gap is closing. It's getting smaller and smaller to where everybody, after a point, is going to be influenced by the same thing, which then leaves none of us on the outside to help anybody else to get out. We'll all be in at that point. And that's where that's going to be critical. That's going to be a critical time. I'm going to come over here and I'll come back over there. Yes, ma'am. Speak up, please. Gotcha. And the thing is, I don't want us to minimize the influence and the power of the media either. It's a serious machine that is designed to influence your perception. Like marketing is totally psychology based, meaning marketing has three basic goals: to get you to do something that you don't do. Another goal is to get you to do something that you do, but to do it differently, right? And the third goal would be to get you to do something that you're already doing, but to get you to do more of it, right? And so it's all about manipulating your behavior, by manipulating you through your emotions and your cognition. And so media is a part of that same thing. In fact, American Gods, there's a goddess, her name is media, right? And you know, media is cold-blooded. You know, media shows up everywhere because media has access to everybody, right? She was like living in Times Square at one point, but y'all check that series out. But it's really dope. But the media is very powerful, and we don't want to lose sight of that. And it's not just reporting things. It's actually informing you, like forming, like shaping you, shaping your mind, shaping your understanding of what's real and what's not, shaping your understanding about what's valuable and what's not, shaping your perspective about you and people that look like you, shaping your understanding about people that look like other things, right? So it's all about perception management. We can't lose sight of that. And that's why certain people will get the loudest microphones, will get the most airtime, will get their images plastered in more places. It's to inform your perspective and your perception. That's absolutely what it's about. So we can't lose sight of that. Yes, sir.
I was just going to say, how do you feel about the promotion of idolatry in our community? Because me personally, I feel like it's very prevalent in the outside community because it diminishes the importance of being parents in our home and honoring in society, especially when someone that's put on a pedestal or just a celebrity, you know, Nipsey Hussle's dead and deceased, he's now deified, as I said earlier in the presentation, which also makes us like, you know, go up to even more. So just how do you feel?
Right. So I was walking here today just for the train station from U Street, and I was met with a Nipsey mural. Right? You know, I was like, wow, how about that? You know, I look at synchronicity as something that Carl Jung talked about. So the idolatry is very, very real. And I don't think that it began with us. I think that we have been influenced to embrace it, right? And again, none of us in this room elevated Nipsey Hussle to this place. It all happened in the media, right? It all happened by how many news stories was covering it. Now we have social media where we seem to be the ones orchestrating that. But the people who, like Mark Zuckerberg and all these people that's creating these social media platforms, they themselves pull back, and the ones who have kids won't let their kids engage it to a certain point. And it's because they know what it's designed for and what it does. And so again, yes, our community, our culture seems to be idol worshiping, right? But what happens is that when we were brought over here on those ships, we were given an idol to worship in the form of a dead white man on a crucifix. Some people call him Jesus, but that ain't Jesus, right? And so I think that what happened is that because as Africans, we understood that God was in all things, that we can look at everything and see God in that thing. Even our brothers and our sisters. Even that rain, that storm that's coming in. The soil, the corn that's coming from the soil. We understood that God had a part in all of them, so God was all of them. And I think that that part of our nature and our worldview and our psycho-spiritual disposition was taken advantage of. There's a book called Bantu Philosophy by a dude named Placid Temples. And what he talks about in that book is how, part of what he talks about in that book is how the missionaries came in, right? And when the missionaries came into Africa, what they did first was study the Africans and study our culture and study how we viewed and understood God. And then once it was studied well enough, then they started attaching things to our natural way that would slowly chip away at our power and weaken us. It's almost like giving Superman a little bit of kryptonite every day, just a little bit. He ain't even detecting it. Slow, and then eventually you scratch him one day and say, okay, he bleeding now, we could get his ass, right? And so when they saw that we could bleed, then they sent the soldiers in. The missionaries came before the soldiers. And so they took advantage of our natural disposition and our ability to see God in everything, and then they started giving us idols to worship. The number one was that dead white dude on the crucifix.